Uncle Philip was the kind of person who could light up any room he walked into. At every family gathering, he was the one who kept conversations lively, turning ordinary moments into cherished memories with his humor and warmth. His laughter was infectious, and his stories were legendary among both young and old. Yet, beneath that vibrant exterior, he carried a heavy burden that few were aware of. At the age of 49, he had been diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. Despite the urgings of his family and friends to seek treatment, Philip chose to face his fate on his own terms, embracing each day with the same zest for life that he always had. One crisp morning, his niece Lucy decided to pay him a visit. The sun was shining brightly, casting a warm glow over Philip's quaint house at the end of Maple Street. As she walked up the garden path, she noticed the flowers he loved so much were in full bloom, their vibrant colors a testament to his nurturing spirit. They spent the morning chatting over tea, reminiscing about old times and sharing stories filled with laughter. But as the afternoon sun began to wane, Lucy found herself drawn to the garage at the side of the house. "I've never seen what's inside," she thought to herself, her curiosity piqued. As she reached for the handle, Uncle Philip's voice rang out sharply, startling her. "Lucy, please," he said, his tone uncharacteristically stern. "The garage is off limits. Promise me you won't try to open it. Not now, not ever, even when I'm gone." Surprised by his sudden change in demeanor, Lucy nodded slowly. "All right, Uncle Philip," she replied softly, sensing the gravity of his request. The moment passed, and Philip's usual cheerful disposition returned, but the incident left an indelible mark on Lucy's mind. A few days later, the inevitable happened. Uncle Philip passed away peacefully in his sleep, leaving a void in the family that was felt deeply by all. The house that was once filled with his laughter now echoed with silence. As relatives gathered to mourn and celebrate his life, Lucy couldn't shake the lingering question about the garage. What was so important that he wanted it sealed forever? A week after the funeral, Lucy decided to bring up the topic with her mother. They sat together in the living room, the soft glow of the fireplace casting shadows on the walls adorned with family photos. "Mom," Lucy began hesitantly, "did Uncle Philip ever mention anything about his garage to you?" Her mother sighed, a distant look in her eyes. "He did, sweetheart. He made us all promise to leave it be. It's what he wanted." "But why?" Lucy pressed gently. "What could be in there that's so important?" Her mother shook her head. "I don't know, Lucy. And I think we should respect his wishes." Sensing that the conversation was over, Lucy didn't push further, but the curiosity gnawed at her. The mystery of the garage became a constant presence in her thoughts. Years rolled by, and life went on. Lucy moved to the city for work, but made frequent visits back home. Every time she passed by Uncle Philip's house, she felt a pull, a whisper of unfinished business. The house remained untouched, a time capsule preserving his memory. Frustrated by the inaction, she urged her mother to start sorting through Philip's belongings. "Mom, it's been years," she said one day over coffee. "We should at least start clearing out the house. Maybe we can donate some things, keep others. It's what families do." Her mother looked thoughtful. "You're right, Lucy. Perhaps it's time." They began the slow process of going through Philip's possessions. Each item told a story: a well-worn hat from his travels, books filled with his annotations, photographs capturing moments of joy. But when it came to the garage, her mother hesitated. "Let's leave that for another day," she suggested. "Mom, we can't avoid it forever," Lucy replied, her frustration evident. "We need to see what's inside." Her mother remained firm. "We made a promise, Lucy." Feeling the weight of her mother's words, Lucy reluctantly agreed to wait a little longer, but her determination only grew stronger. One afternoon, while walking around the property, Lucy noticed a small crack in the garage door. It was barely noticeable, but to her, it felt like an invitation. Kneeling down, she peered through the opening, but all she could see was darkness. Still, her imagination ran wild. What could Uncle Philip have hidden? Was it something valuable? Something dangerous? Or perhaps a secret he was too ashamed to reveal? As she stood up, she felt a surge of memories flood back. Childhood summers spent in the garden, the stories Philip would tell, the way he always seemed to have a twinkle in his eye when he spoke of adventures. The garage had been a part of that world, a place she was never allowed to explore. The mystery consumed her thoughts. Determined to find answers, Lucy decided to confront the issue head-on. During a family dinner, she broached the subject once more. "Uncle David," she began, turning to Philip's younger brother, "don't you think it's time we looked into the garage? Maybe there's something important we need to know." Uncle David exchanged a glance with her mother before replying. "Lucy, your uncle had his reasons. We need to honor his wishes." "But he's gone," she insisted. "What if there's something in there that could help us understand him better?" Her mother reached across the table to place a hand on hers. "Honey, some things are better left as they are." Feeling isolated in her quest, Lucy decided to take matters into her own hands. One evening, she overheard her mother and Uncle David talking in hushed tones. "We promised Philip we'd keep it a secret," her mother whispered. "I know," Uncle David replied, "but maybe it's time we tell Lucy." "Not yet," her mother said firmly. Their words only fueled Lucy's determination. If they wouldn't help her, she'd find another way. The next day, while strolling through the neighborhood, Lucy ran into Mrs. Thompson, an elderly woman who had lived next door to Uncle Philip for decades. "Lucy, dear, it's so good to see you," Mrs. Thompson exclaimed. They chatted for a while before Lucy brought up the garage. "Did you ever notice anything unusual about Uncle Philip's garage?" she asked casually. Mrs. Thompson smiled knowingly. "Oh, that garage was his sanctuary. He spent hours in there, especially after his diagnosis. It brought him such peace." "What did he do in there?" Lucy pressed. "I'm not entirely sure," Mrs. Thompson admitted. "But sometimes I heard the most beautiful music and the soft hum of machinery. Whatever he was doing, it made him happy." Her words intrigued Lucy further. Perhaps the garage wasn't a place of dark secrets, but of cherished memories and hidden joys. Feeling a renewed sense of purpose, Lucy decided it was time to act. She reached out to her childhood friend, Bella, who was always up for an adventure. "Bella, I need your help," Lucy said over the phone. "There's something I need to find out about Uncle Philip's garage." Bella didn't hesitate. "Count me in. What's the plan?" Together, they devised a strategy to enter the garage without alerting the family. Bella, with her tech-savvy skills, suggested they pick the lock late at night when no one would notice. On the chosen night, dressed in dark clothes and armed with a flashlight and lock-picking tools, they approached the garage. Lucy's heart pounded in her chest as Bella worked on the lock. With a soft click, the door gave way. They stepped inside, and what they saw took their breath away. The garage had been transformed into a whimsical workshop, filled with intricately crafted toys and models. Wooden trains with detailed carriages, dolls with hand-stitched clothes, miniature carousels that seemed ready to spin at any moment. The walls were lined with shelves displaying his creations, each more elaborate than the last. "Wow," Bella whispered. "This is incredible." As they moved deeper into the garage, Lucy noticed a large table strewn with tools, paints, and sketches. Among the papers was a leather-bound journal. Opening it carefully, she began to read Uncle Philip's entries. "Today, I finished the carousel. I hope it brings joy to someone who needs it." One entry read. Another said, "The doctors say time is limited, but creating these pieces makes me feel alive." Tears welled up in Lucy's eyes as she realized the significance of what she was reading. Her uncle had spent his final days crafting gifts intended to bring happiness to others, perhaps children in need or those facing their own battles. Amidst the journal pages, they found envelopes addressed to various children's hospitals and charities. It became clear that Uncle Philip had planned to donate his creations but hadn't had the chance before his passing. "We have to tell my family," Lucy said firmly. "They need to know." The next morning, she gathered her mother and Uncle David in the living room. "I went into the garage," she confessed. Her mother started to protest, but Lucy held up a hand. "Please let me explain." She recounted everything: the workshop, the toys, the journal. As she spoke, emotions washed over her family members. "I had no idea," her mother whispered, tears streaming down her face. Uncle David nodded solemnly. "He always was a generous soul. I wish he'd told us." They spent hours going through the garage together, marveling at Philip's artistry and the love infused in every piece. The initial shock gave way to a shared sense of purpose. "We need to fulfill his wish," Lucy said. "Let's donate these toys as he intended." Her mother smiled through her tears. "I think he would have liked that." Over the following weeks, the family worked tirelessly to sort, package, and deliver the toys to various organizations. News of Uncle Philip's workshop spread through the town, inspiring others to contribute in their own ways. The garage became a hub of activity. Volunteers offered to help create more toys, turning it into a community workshop. Children and adults alike learned the craft, continuing Philip's legacy of bringing joy to others. One of the toys, a beautifully crafted wooden carousel, found its way to St. Mary's Children's Hospital. There, a young girl named Paisley, who had spent months confined to her hospital room, received it. The moment she laid eyes on the carousel, her face lit up with pure delight. As it spun, playing a gentle melody, the gloom of her surroundings seemed to fade away. Paisley's laughter echoed down the halls, drawing smiles from staff and patients alike. The carousel became her cherished companion, a symbol of hope and happiness. Back in the town, the workshop thrived. It was renamed Philip's Wonderland, and it stood as a testament to the impact one person's kindness could have on countless lives. Lucy often visited the workshop, now filled with the sounds of creativity and camaraderie. She felt closer to her uncle than ever before, knowing that his spirit lived on through the smiles of children like Paisley. One evening, as the sun set over the bustling workshop, Lucy sat down with her mother and Uncle David. "I'm so glad we uncovered his secret," she said softly. Her mother nodded. "Me too. It's like he's still here with us." Uncle David raised a mug of tea. "To Philip, the man who taught us that love and generosity are the greatest gifts of all." They clinked their mugs together, a silent agreement to keep his legacy alive. In the months that followed, the impact of Philip's Wonderland reached far and wide. Stories poured in from hospitals and families, all touched by the magic of the handcrafted toys. The town, once quiet and unassuming, became known for its spirit of giving. Lucy found solace in knowing that her uncle's final wish had been fulfilled, and that his memory continued to inspire others. She realized that the true treasure hidden in the garage wasn't just the toys, but the love and hope they represented. As she walked through the workshop one day, watching children learn to carve and paint, she felt a deep sense of peace. Uncle Philip's journey had come full circle, his life touching others in ways he could never have imagined. In the end, the garage that had once been a source of mystery became a beacon of light, a place where dreams were crafted and shared. And Lucy knew that as long as there were hearts willing to give, her uncle's spirit would never fade.